everybody, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I hope your week is going on well so far. Mine is. Life will always throw things at us, right? But we got to make the most out of it. That's what you got to remember. We got to make the most out of it. So today, I'm filming this right now. It's about 11 a.m. in the morning, and you guys will watch it at night. It is February 11th, 2026. There is not going to be another February 11, 2026 Wednesday, right? Every day is a miracle. Literally, every day is a miracle if you look at it that way. All of the things in this world, the universe, all has to come together in a certain way. And our subconscious, God, higher power, universe, whatever we believe in, right, has to work everything in certain way that we wake up every morning, right? There's always a possibility that our life will just end. There's earthquake, tsunami, whatnot, right? There's a lot of other things. There are parts of the world where they are having war right now. So if you're not caught on that, that means you are living a good life. Now, I know that we have a lot of challenges, right? On this channel, we literally talk about pain, from pain to purpose. But every single day, we have a choice. Every single day, we have a choice to look at it in a way that our inner coach is activated, or inner critic. You guys know that I have been talking about it from the beginning of this channel, right? And then I have the inner coach framework. If you're interested, check it out on my website. But again, the point is the inner coach is your best friend. Tells you that you can do anything in this world, like your best friend. And the inner critic will keep you in the shame and guilt, those lower frequency zone. And that comes from Dr. David Hawkins. You can look it up. Dr. David Hawkins has a list of frequency level where it applies to all the people. And actually, I bought a recent book yesterday. I was reading about it. Look at this, Power versus Force. Actually, it may have a picture in this one. I don't know if he has a picture in this one, but I have the printed picture. Yeah, it doesn't have the picture in it. It surprises me. But I have the picture in my bedroom for like a long time. So anyway, the point is the lower frequency is where you are trying to, not you meaning like all the people, we are trying to control others. And we know how that goes. We cannot control others, right? We can only control ourselves. It starts from shame, guilt, and then there's this middle section, which is like 20 frequency, and there's a middle section, which is 200, and 200 is the breaking point, which I actually learned very recently, even though I knew about the chart, but 200 is a breaking frequency, which I'm going to make a short out of that too, because it was really too good to not share with people. So after that is where it gets to like acceptance, willingness, and then that's how you slowly move up to the love, joy. Love is 500 frequency, joy, peace, I think, is 700, and 1000 is enlightenment. So anyway, where I was going with that is, all this frequency level, it's our choice. Every single day, we can choose where we want to live our life, in this frequency zone. And it doesn't have to be in a day. Like, people would say that, oh, today is a bad day, I hope tomorrow goes good. It's moment to moment. Life is, many, I don't know, trillions or zillions, whatever, many moments stitched together. If you had a bad experience, you don't have to wait until tomorrow. You have the next moment, right? And I say this as a reminder for myself too, because if you have been following me for a while, you know my journey. This channel didn't start as a business. It started as a survival guide. And even if you call it as a business or a company, I look at it, it's a meaningful, I don't know the right word. It's a meaningful venture. Venture is also not the right word. I don't know what it is, but meaningful journey. That's the best way to call it, meaningful journey, where I'm trying to help people from my own life experience. And so I had this amazing moment that I am still surprised and it's like you guys probably can hear some in my voice because I'm still a little bit of speechless, and I'm going to tell you what. So this book, Grateful After Goodbye, which is the actually book 2 in a list of books I'll be publishing. I plan to publish 2 books a year. So this was published in December of last year, so 2 months ago. This is book 2 in the list, but actually book 1 on the trilogy. So the trilogy is Midlife, Reinvention. This is the first one, Grateful After Goodbye, and book 2 comes later this year. But I'm going to be publishing another one in a few months. That's it. That's a smaller book. But anyway, the point is, this book, when I wrote, and again, this is not, trust me, this is not bragging about me. This is, I'm showing, like, when we keep showing up, even on our harder days, what's possible. Because this is a journey, my friend, I could not imagine, even in my wildest dreams. It came all from surrender. I surrendered everything. I surrendered everything to God. For me, it is God. For you, it is universe, higher power, whatever you call it. I consider myself Christian, but funny thing is that I got rejected once from baptism because I was not Christian enough for traditional Christians. And at the same time, I might be a little too Christian for people who are not Christian. I don't know. But doesn't matter, right? So the point is, I live my authentic life because I have tried to shrink to fit in the rooms, especially in the boardrooms, meeting rooms, where I was not only the only woman, I was the only brown woman, right? Where I tried to shrink to fit, and I was directly told I was too nice, I was too strong, and all of that. So I didn't, I had too many of too this, too that, either in my marriage or in my corporate life, 21 years of corporate life. So I decided to not shrink anymore. If I'm not fitting, that means those rooms are not right rooms for me, right? So either I go to a different room or I create the rooms, which is my meetup group. You guys know everybody is allowed and accepted as they are, no matter what their religion is, what they believe. Even if they're atheists, they are allowed and accepted. Because when I was going through my journey, I knew that life after divorce is very different, and if you lose both at the same time, which happened in my case. So anyway, did I say about the book? What happened? So somebody bought the book in Japan yesterday. I forgot the main part. Anyway, I probably didn't cover that. Somebody bought the book in Japan. So every morning I look at the Amazon. It's called KDP Reports, and KDP is the Kindle. D is what? P is printing, D is, I don't know, whatever it is. But anyway, the KDP report, you get to see if you have anybody bought the book, because Amazon doesn't share who bought the book and even their actual address or anything, which makes sense because, they want to keep it anonymous, but the country is shared. So far, all my purchases, sales, were in the United States. Makes sense because I'm in the United States, so more probably is getting shared here. But this was the first time. Today is February 11th, and yesterday was February 10th. It's a special day, and the person who bought that doesn't know me, and I don't know them. It brings tears to my eyes, my friends. You have no idea. Because when I wrote this book, because this book is my own reinvention, what all I went through in the first year when everything fell apart in 2023 of November. And this book covers almost until, I would say, 2025, late 2025 too. Yeah, like, you'd see the first year I had really challenging time, but I kept going for my daughter, and this book is dedicated to my daughter. God showed up for me through her. So the other day I told a friend of mine that in life, we look for pattern and we connect it and all that. And my mom used to say this, and if you come here often, I talk about my mom here and there. Sometimes she's in India, and I feel this unconditional love from her, but I don't get to see her this is a life I chose, so in life we can't have everything. So anyway, I talk to her once a week, so it's all good, and I feel that love and connection through her, which I can't have. Like, I feel so grateful, so grateful. In one of the future books, I'll write more about her and her resilience, and how a lot of my resilience actually come from her, which I never realized until everything fell apart. Because my dad died when my mom was 42. He had a natural death, and we were 6 of us, and I'm the youngest, so my brothers are older, but my mom she had a difficult life. Anyway, I'm getting a bit emotional because people who, right, the person, like how, so anyway, I'm a bit distracted today because my mind, it is so overwhelmed seeing that somebody bought the book from Japan. Because when I wrote this book, my friends, I cried a lot, because a lot of the moments, it seemed like I was reliving them, even though, your mind, your brain goes to that part, even though it was in the past. So I had to say it out loud several times. This was in the past. This was in the past. I'm writing this book to help others. I mean, it also mattered and matters for people who are buying this in the United States, and it is inspiring others. But I'm in the United States, somebody is in Japan, which is completely on the other part of the world. I don't know how they found this book, because I didn't even advertise or anything. And they bought the book. So my friends, keep going and keep sharing your story, because when you make it to another day, not only another month or a year, even make it to another day, it will connect. It will connect with other people. They will get inspiration to keep going. And I brought up my mom because I remember she used to say, I don't even remember the context. She used to say that people who has no one, they have God with them. Oh my God, I'm like getting really, I don't have a napkin here. Anyway, people have no one, they have God with them. So in this journey, in the last 2 years, that's what I felt, that God is with me. God is with me. Because life will always throw things at you, maybe smaller things, right? Not always big things like divorce, job loss, or someone's death in your family, or someone very sick in your family, but things will keep happening. But we gotta keep going. And they also say this thing, right? That change is the only constant in life. And I was texting with someone the other day that yes, life will change, and there will be another change tomorrow. It's an unpredicted change. But the way I started learning to look at life, what doesn't change, stays constant, is God. In the beginning of this journey, you would see that I was following Buddhism very deeply, and I'm a person who follows anything that we follow. It's pretty deep. So I was following Buddhism pretty deeply, and then I did Hindu things too in the early days. In 2024 playlist, if you see, there was a picture of Buddha on the back, and on the left side, because it was upstairs on the left side, I have Shiva, who is Hindu god, and then series of unexplainable events got me into Christianity, which I will write the details of it in one of the books in, I don't know, book 8, book 9. I have like 14 more books planned. Maybe there'll be more. Because some people wanted to know those stories. The point is, my friend, when you find that context, constant. The reason I also share this, because as life evolves, we evolve too. In the beginning, I was talking about, you know, I was grateful for the sky, the trees, and I say it because my window is right there. I look at the sky, the tree, the Mother Earth. And I was being grateful on those early days of the videos in those. God is larger than that, right? God created all of those. That's my belief. You don't have to believe that. But when we go so strongly with our own belief that there is no trace of doubt, whatever we believe in, God, universe, higher power, they show up. They show up to be there with you, my friend. I am a living proof. Like yesterday, somebody bought this book in Japan, and I also bought this synchronicity book because you must have heard the synchronicity. So synchronicity, the power of coincidence, and there's this book. So I read like 4 or 5 books all at once. Carl Jung, synchronicity. So I read 4 or 5 books at once, sometimes even more. It depends, because I got into books as part of this journey. I was reading books before and, watching TED Talks many years in past, but now part of my work, I research a lot of books so that, I get to share a lot of helpful tips for people who are going through this journey, especially in the early days. As I went through, I know how that pain is so deep. So even if I can reduce a little time for the people as they're going through from that pain to purpose, that is worth it. That is worth it, right? Because the pain can last for months and years and so on, right? And our life is so limited. Our life is so limited. So it is important that we don't always just live in the pain, because some pain will be there. It's not that like, I have all this good stuff going on that I have no pain. There is some pain, but you know how to not have that pain paralyze you, right? Because pain is always going to be part of it. But how can we focus onto the good too in life? And the good could be just having like, a little simple coffee. And look at my coffee cup. It's so funny. It says, "Shh, coffee and I are having a moment." Right? So if you guys come here, you know that I have this funny, some of them are inspiring. This is a funny one right up in my coffee cup, and I buy them from dollar store. Anyway, switching gear again so my meetup group, there are people, if you are in Northern Virginia, you can join. There are people who are in a similar journey, they're separated or divorced, and people are rebuilding their life. And I look to expand it to different cities this year. Right now, most of the events are in Ashburn, but I look to expand it to other cities in like Herndon, Reston, Tysons, and in DC, and next year nationwide, because there is a need. There is a need for people to come together and be there for each other. Not only that, the divorce discussion should be a mainstream discussion, because as people talk about a lot of other physical pain, they should be able to talk about this too. And as life unfolds, there are a lot of things that we learn from the past. We can work on ourselves and live a better life afterwards, right? Because life is short. Life is short. There is no point in living in the past. And after divorce happens, many people, they don't necessarily choose to live in the past, but society pushes them in a way that they're forced to live in the past. And that's what I'm trying to change. And as I do that, I know that I'm going against the society, because divorce is a taboo subject even in the United States, which is a developed country. And there's almost 50% divorce rates, but even then people look at it differently, as if there is something wrong with you if you are a divorced person. And like I was saying, life will throw things at you. I mean, even in the recent days, after over 2 years, 2.5 years, going to be soon, I have seen how I was judged, even with my some of the very close people, about something which I did not expect. But then I had to take a step back and take the role of an observer, right? That's what they say. You observe your life as if like it's playing in a movie, then you realize it more, and that it gave me the perspective that look at it more with the eyes of compassion, right? Because that person has not lived my life, so they would not know the pain I'm going through. And a lot of time, that's what it is, even in a marriage, or even if you start a new relationship, it all goes back to that, 8 billion people in this world has 8 billion unique journeys, which I keep talking about in this channel too, is that nobody will ever fully understand your story. And that's where sometimes when the people feel like they are alone in their journey, and it's like you can be around 10 people, you can have a big family, house full of people, and you feel a little bit of loneliness. Why you feel that is because sometimes you feel like nobody understands your point of view. But you can share a last name, you can share the same roof, under the same roof. People will never fully understand. Who will understand? If you believe God, universe, higher power. Because when you believe that there's a bigger plan for your life, then you will feel less lonely. Because that's what happened to me. That's what really happened to me, my friends. And it is an amazing feeling. It is an amazing feeling. And I can explain it, because that is something you have to experience yourself to realize what it is. So lately I have been listening to lots of Wayne Dyer book. I actually bought 6 of Wayne Dyer books out of my 20 books in January. And I was studying a lot of non-duality. And that's where, like, when I say I'm non-traditional Christian, so Wayne Dyer's concept is be Christ-like, be Buddha-like, but don't be Christian or Buddhist. The point is that focus on the love, focus on the kindness, and all of that, right? So that's what I try to live by. I'm not perfect. I mean, we all have, if you go by Christianity, we all have the Holy Spirit and devil within us, right? So it comes down to what is triggered when, and if the bad side is triggered, it's not that who triggered it, it's like that means it's unhealed wound, right? And there might be things until even we die, even if we keep working on ourselves, even when we die, there are still some unhealed wounds, because we are human, we are not God, we are not perfect. And sometimes it is easier to be more kind and compassionate to the other people instead of us, right? So remembering every single day that we have to choose this. And that also comes from another thing. I recently watched that movie called Paul on Amazon Prime, right? So this is the person, Apostle Paul, who used to be called Saul. And it's not the same Saul who was in the Old Testament. That's the Saul, the king, who went after David, King David. But that was like, way before, because that was in Old Testament. The name kind of can confuse you, because in the beginning I was like, it's the same name. So with the Saul, it's a different person who initially did not believe in Jesus, and then God showed up to him, he got blinded, and then he had a dream. That I think the person's name is 𝗫, who is his brother. What is it? Anyway, I forgot. So 𝗫 had the dream that he's going to go help Saul to start seeing again. And Saul also had the dream from God that 𝗫 will come and heal him, and he did. Anyway, why I was getting to that is, so the Paul, who wrote almost half of the New Testament in the Bible, he was captured by Romans, and he wrote most of it in when he was in a jail cell. So first, it shows the power of our mind, right? Like when he was in there, he was writing that. And second, that he said that also, like, he said it way better than me, of course. Like, we have two sides. He didn't say inner coach and inner critic. The point is, like, the Holy Spirit and the devil. And every single day, we got to choose this. We got to choose this, because we as human being, we are tempted to choose this, because it goes with, like, our subconscious mind is 75% negative. It kind of, so it is by default, it is swayed towards this. So you have to literally choose it every day. Now the point is that it could be a point of frustration, thinking that, oh, why do I have to do this much work? But the interesting part is, as you keep doing this over time, this actually increases. And I have seen that with my life, because you guys know that I had the gratitude wall on my back in the early days of the videos, because it's upstairs. Now I actually moved downstairs here. This is my dining room. Speaking of that, these are my daughter's toys that she doesn't play with anymore. And it goes back to, like, I don't try to be perfect. You guys know, it's like, be your authentic self. Doesn't matter. People who is going to join in your journey, they will. This is my daughter, put it up there. This is our, that's like subtraction. We have division, multiplication over there. She's going to be 10 soon, but these were put like a few years ago. Anyway, wherever you are in your journey, nothing has to be perfect, right? Live your authentic life, live your full self. If somebody has challenge with that, if somebody is not coming along with your journey, let them go. Let them go. Because as you do that, the space is created, the physical and emotional, the mental space, because we need the mental space in our head, because if we are so keen on holding on to something that is not for us, then our mind doesn't have that mental space that is needed, and the physical space too, that God, universe, higher power, whoever is supposed to bring somebody in your life. And I'm not talking about just your partner, future partner or anything. It could be your friends, it could be, it can be family, because family is only family who chooses your partner. I mean, it could be a good friend or work colleague, or or business partner, investor, whatever, depending on whatever you guys do. So you have to let go what doesn't serve you. You would know what fits in your present and future story. If you see that if it fits, then it's one point. But if it doesn't, then you gotta let go. And then, my friends, life becomes beautiful, because you gotta find joy in the journey. You guys know I talk about that joy in the journey, right? Every day everything won't be perfect. But if there are things that you're living by your values, and you are finding joy in sipping a cup of coffee, just looking outside, appreciating the sunlight. Because the other day I was looking, like 2 years ago, on my gratitude wall, the posted, I literally had, like, one day I picked, I mean, that's what my gratitude used to be. One was, I'm grateful for the sunlight, I'm grateful for the air, and I'm grateful for my daughter, Alice. So those are the three things in the early days, because I didn't know, I didn't have too many big things, not too many, like almost no big things going on. So I just found the most basic, right? So then, unknowingly, I trained myself in a good way to look at the positive, look at the good in everything. And now looking back, I know that God was doing that for me, because 3 years ago, my friends, if you told me that I would be a Christian, I would not believe you. So my faith journey took a turn in a way that I can never explain. So that's why some people said they're interested to know. So someday I'm going to write a book with all the details. And God surprises me even today with the synchronicity, coincidence, God sign. I mean, I had something yesterday, day before, not only this book, there are other things that it's just mind-boggling in a very good way. So trust the universe, trust whatever you trust. So just go so deep so that there is no doubt, and life will become beautiful. So a lot of things I shared in this video. If this helps you, please do share it with others, and know that your journey is going to be beautiful. Keep going. Take care. Bye.